Hi everyone, my name is Amelia. I'm a student with Hope and Brown, and I'm going to share some statistics, some numbers about the eviction crisis in Rhode Island from June 2020 to now that have been collected from public court records. These statistics only cover evictions for non-payment of rent. Lots of people have been evicted for other reasons, either through the courts or by landlords acting illegally to evict tenants on their own. Anyone working one-on-one with renters during COVID has heard countless stories like those we just heard of folks falling through the cracks, folks who don't even make it into these public data. Due to the lack of access to low-cost or free legal representation, a significant portion of tenants facing any kind of eviction or legal action either do not take advantage of their right to due process or leave voluntarily out of fear, misunderstanding, and or landlord intimidation. There is so much more to the story of evictions, but even these stats alone are horrible. So I'm going to share my screen with a slideshow of the statistics right now.
And while you're doing that, I just want to check in with our folks who are on the ground. There's a very small COVID-safe group of people on the ground outside the courthouse in downtown Providence who are projecting the names of the biggest evictors at the courthouse while we show them to you here. Yes, they are. At the courthouse.
Yes, we are.
This is going to inspire large folks. This is awesome.
I'm just waiting for it to line up. Perfect. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So top 10 Rhode Island evictors, name and shame.
Vamos a dar una traducción en español. Entonces, eso es la 10 gente de los 10 dueños con los más desalojos en el estado de Rhode Island.
So the top 10 evicting lawyers in Rhode Island during the pandemic.
Esos son los abogados con los más desalojos durante la pandemia.
Number 1 is Steve Conte with 229. Number 2 is Murray Gariboff with 221. Number 3 is Sean T. O'Leary, 168. Number 4 is Alexander Louis Friedman with 117. Number 5 is Michael D. Crane with 115. Number 6 is Paul D. Rigosta with 85. Number 7 is Travis James Dacosta with 68. Number 8 is Christopher Murphy with 66. Number 9 is Paul M. Feinstein with 30. And number 10 is Arthur S. Russo Jr. with 24. These are the top 10 landlords filing the most evictions during the pandemic.
Eso es los dueños presentando los más desalojos durante la pandemia.
Number 1 is the Peregrine Real Estate Group, who have targeted 44 households with eviction.
Este grupo ha desalojado 44 casas.
Number 2 is the Belotti Group, who has targeted 40 households with eviction.
Este grupo ha desalojado 40 casas.
Number 3 is the Windgate Management Company, which is all affordable housing, has targeted 34 households with eviction.
Esta compañía ha desalojado 24 casas y esta compañía es de todas sus casas son viviendas asequibles.
Number 4 is the Ferland Property Management, who has targeted 32 households with eviction.
Esta compañía ha desalojado 32 casas.
Number 5 is the Pioneer Investment Group, who have targeted 26 households with eviction.
Pioneer ha desalojado 26 casas.
Number 6 is the Peregrine Property Management, who has targeted 17 households with eviction.
Peregrine desalojado a 17 casas.
Number 7 is Properties 1K and Properties 2K, who have targeted 14 households with eviction.
Esta compañía desalojado a 14 casas.
Number 8 is Pine Street Realty LLC, who has targeted 13 households with eviction.
Esta compañía desalojado a 13 casas.
Number 9 is AMCO Warwick LLC, Royal Crest Estates, who have targeted 12 households with eviction.
AMCO desalojado a 12 casas.
Number 10 is Property Advisory Group, who has targeted 9 households with eviction.
Property Advisory Group desalojado a 9 casas.
Let's take a minute to boo these landlords.
These. Boo.
How inhumane! Boo!
Yeah, so these 241 household evictions mean approximately 650 individuals are facing eviction during the pandemic.
Estos 241 desalojos significan que aproximadamente 650 personas van a estar desalojados durante esta pandemia.
And about 140 children are going through an eviction right now.
Y eso significa que hay aproximadamente 140 niños quienes están experimentando el desalojo ahora mismo.
Cities with the most evictions filed.
Esto demuestra las ciudades con los más desalojos en el estado.
So number 1 is Providence with 542. Number 2 is Woonsocket with 238. Number 3 is Pawtucket with 198. Number 4 is Warwick with 194. Number 5 is Cranston with 107. Number 6 is Central Falls with 53. Number 7 is Johnston with 40. Number 8 is Bristol at 23. Number 9 is Cumberland with 23. Sorry. Number 10 is Coventry with 23. One in 50 households in Woonsocket is being evicted during the pandemic.
1 por 50 casas en Woonsocket están siendo desalojados ahora mismo.
This map shows how many evictions by neighborhood in Providence. So the darker red areas have experienced more eviction filings.
Esto es un mapa que demuestra los desalojos por barrio de Providence y las áreas más oscuras demuestran los barrios que están experimentando los más desalojos. Entonces, Juan Sparks.
And we want to remind you that these are only the evictions that have been processed by the court. There have been many, many instances of illegal eviction not recorded in this public data that is not represented in this map. So just keep that in mind, that the crisis is everywhere. Okay, this map shows evictions by municipality, and the darker blue areas have experienced more evictions during the pandemic.
Este mapa demuestra las municipalidades, las ciudades y los pueblos que han experimentado los más desalojos en el estado de Rhode Island y las áreas, de nuevo, las áreas más oscuras significan las municipalidades que han experimentado las más. Entonces, Providence, Cranston, Warwick, etc.
And with this map, again, as Amelia just mentioned, we know that there are a lot more evictions happening than just this. This is only showing us the landlords who are going through the courts. who are following the law. Any of us who are working with tenants on a day-to-day basis know that there are so many more evictions happening than this. There are so many landlords who are evicting people through intimidation, through illegal tactics, not going through the courts. These statistics are horrifying and are only showing us some of the story. Thank you, Amelia.